Hi, welcome to another video on my pneumatic hand robotic arm with a controller and two gears. The gear for the up and down movement of the arm and the pivot gear, which makes sure that the arm can turn around more or less. In this video I continue with the subject that I started last time, which is the wrist. And last time I constructed kind of substitute for a wrist movement. Took me quite a while. However, the conclusion was that I actually should have a pivoting point that is the same as I am using for the base of the arm. I thought I didn't have one, but actually I do, which is this. This is exactly the same part as for the pivoting plate, and you understand that this is far easier to use for the wrist to turn around. Question is though, which one to use, which side to use for mounting on the arm and for mounting on the hand. Now usually if you turn your arm around, your hand around, your arm is holding more or less still. So in that way it speaks more or less for itself that this side will be for the hand and so this one for the arm. Now that isn't much of a problem. When I look at the distances between the arm parts, it should be possible. Thing that is a little bit harder is to make this adaptive to it, because this is a smaller surface. Another point is that, as you can see, there are pneumatic tubes, which is logical because it's a pneumatic arm or hand. There are also electrical wires for the finger switches, and I want them all to go through here. And if you look closely, they all go through the plate of the arm, or the hand I mean, and then go somewhere in the middle of the arm. So I have to find a way to actually move these tubes further inside and then extend this construction a bit for the wrist, because if I do it like this, I'm not sure what's going to happen if I press them all together in order to get them through a rather small hole. So first I have to do is to actually disconnect everything No, first label everything so I know which tube is for which and which wire is for which, and then disconnect and see how I can do that. So let's start. And when you are preparing for mounting the wrist plate, you take off the pneumatic tube and the pneumatic wires, and then you are reminded of the way you mounted everything, which indicates, which means that the tubes are rather easy to take off. But the wires require some more work because the connectors cannot go through the hole through which the wires go. So first the wires, then the connectors, and the connectors have of course to be in a certain configuration. So first you have to take the wires from the connectors, label everything, and then take them through the hole. So, and this for 5 fingers. So that's taken a little bit of work. With all fingers removed and all electrical wires and pneumatic tubes detached and properly labeled, it is time to remove the hand, and then it also becomes clear that the hand is quite heavy. And you can see it like this. This is just one hand with one finger, and it rather completely balances the entire arm, which is now resting like this on the part of the elbow. So in some way everything has to go through this, and then it has to get mounted somehow here. And then the question is, how will that be? First I have to shift all the tubes further through the arm, get them in here, and then see how to proceed. So, next step. So with the tubes a little bit extended, let's try to move everything through the hole. Won't be that difficult. Or will it? And here is of course already a problem, because this connection won't be properly fit in, but we'll see how that ends up and works out. Anyway, for now let's try to get a proper mount, if possible. Let's start by removing this part here. Not that it helps much, but I think I have to move it like this. If this works out. and then I have to shift it over, if possible. And this is hard enough. Oops. So this is a mounted wrist, so to say. And ready for the next step, although this is proven to be not exactly right, because this is too much extending, so I need to remove it and try again. Now it is time to try to mount the hand back to the wrist, but this construction makes it very hard to mount this to this plate. So I have to replace this by this. So this comes off. Oops, take care. Then temporarily take this one off. It's just a marker for where the finger goes. So it goes back, and then this one here. It doesn't really matter where the slide direction is, as long as they all fit. At least that's my point of view for now. So this will fit a lot better, a lot easier. And to make it even better, I have these small blocks which go in here, and then they should slide over it. So I need a few more of these. They slide over it, and then I have to take care also that these wires first go through the plate. So those are a few things to do. Then of course the motor has to be on it, and I can do it on the plate as I had thought earlier, but I can also do it like this, and I like this position better because it means one wire less through the gate. So first of all, let's try to get something back to through the plate again. And I have to do that properly, of course, because they all have their own designation. This is one correctly, and this is the other one, and this is the wrong one because it has to make a bend here. Tubes need a wider angle, So that's going to be a nice job to get them all properly fixed and set. And then I noticed that they are not all as long as they should be. So that's going to be quite a challenge, how to fix it in the proper way. And which one is this? Yes, that is index, and then the index wire, which is this one, and this can be in the opposite hole. The wires, the copper, go through the hole, and that is number 2, and so on and so forth. So now with the hand properly mounted to the wrist, and wires and tubes through the plate, properly labeled and properly in place, I hope, it's time to mount things again. And first I'm going to do the thumb. And now the nice thing is I can easily turn the hand, take the wire and put it in, and that should in this case be not such a problem. But I also have to take care of the correct length, because this is happening, and then the wire should be long enough. And that won't be as easy as it sounds. So let's first mount the wire, or connect it anyway. That is one. And when two wires are interconnected into one wire, it's always harder to mount them, to connect them. Anyway, this is one wire, and let's see, this is a very tight connection, so I have to move them. I have to move this wire through the arm with enough length, and this has to go for each wire. So now the question is, where does this wire come from? Which one is it exactly? And the best thing is to lift everything, and I'll show you, because through the base of the arm all wires are there, and the best thing is now to lift them all up, or try to anyway, and see if that works. And this proves to be a little problem. Since everything is now going through this hole in the wrist, I might need to have a little support somewhere, right? That may be better, and that is better. So one of those connections here was holding back, and now this wire is correct. Which also means that I have to connect the tube. So let's do that immediately. That is one, and I can push it back a little because this is no problem. The wire should have the length. And that's only for one, and now 4 more to go. And that will also be a challenge, which way is safest to turn, so that the wires don't end up in some complete mess and may break. So this is one. Let's see which is next. That should be this one at this place. Which should have enough length as well, and this one turns out or shows to have enough length, so mounting should be no problem. So now the hand is fully attached to the wrist and to the rest of the arm again. All fingers are mounted, and now I can quite easily show how it looks like. All wires, and at some places it is rather tight, but it works. And as said before, it will be a close call to find out how far it exactly can run. Also, when this motor is finally mounted on the wrist, how fast will it run? How slow will it run? Is it slow enough? Because I don't want the motor or the wrist to completely jerk around fast or turn around, whatever. So the motor will be somewhere here, and I'll yet have to find the proper way to do it. Apart from that, this connection may be not even strong enough, because it can slide off, maybe through its weight. So it may be even better to replace this connection by something like this, and then have such a yellow connection piece connecting them. Just a consideration I think of now, so that may be even better. Further tests have to be done, how easy it swings, how easy it turns. Will everything be alright? So on that I will do a short test, see if it works. If the computer chooses to cooperate, that is. There we go. Now I have to press a finger to have the compressor working. And as yet it doesn't do anything. Which goes for all fingers, to my surprise. So, not quite sure what the problem is, but electrically there is some problem, probably somewhere here. And that simply means that I have to check the installation. All wires are connected here, but are they connected there? That is the big question now. So I'm gonna leave it for now at that point. Next time, checking wires and checking everything else. For now, thank you for watching, and this is to be continued. If you like my videos, please consider supporting my videos by allowing advertisements in between the video segments. If you don't want that, please visit my website, which is shown under this video, for another way of support. Bye bye.